Hello and welcome. If you're new around here, my name is Alicia and this is the Vegan Remix. We take recipes by famous chefs and other people and we make them vegan, or we make them suitable for vegans. Today I'm going to be tackling Jamie Oliver's Onepan Toffee Apple, they're like cinnamon rolls, buns, he's called them, I believe.
You can actually hear that toffee apple caramel blipping away round the edges, but that's not the best bit. The best bit. Oh, come on!
But I only have pears and there is no recipe, so we're going to be winging this completely and you'll have to wait till the end to find out whether this is a success or a fail. So let's go and set up the kitchen and see what ingredients we have. Alright, so I'm going to apologise first off for the lighting. My kitchen is the most dark and dingy place you could ever imagine. But this is all I've got. I think it even says pears on here. Oh, vegan. Yeah. They're frozen. They're going to put moisture everywhere. This could be a potential problem, but I don't have apples and I don't have any fresh fruit. So this is what we're working with. We're going to start by making off a very simple dough. It is going to be a pizza type dough, so no butter, no nothing. It is a recipe from Joshua Weissman, so I'm crossing over here a little bit, but as I said, no recipe for Jamie Oliver's thing that I could find for free online. So let's get into making the dough. Just a bit of a heads up, you can make this the night before and let it rest in the fridge overnight if you're very well prepared. If you're not, like me, you can leave it at room temperature for 2 hours. First things first, you want a bowl and some scales, and you're going to add in 8 grams, helps to turn it on, of salt. Then you're going to want 400, we're going to start with 400, you're going to probably need more than that, grams of flour. Baker's flour is best. I'm using all-purpose, which means I will need more flour. Oh my god, exactly 400. Huh. Then we move on to the wet. Next you want 256 grams of lukewarm water. Now this is too hot. Only ever so slightly, so I'm going to cool it down with a bit of, oopsies, cooler room temperature water. Fun fact, yeast is very temperamental and has ideal temperatures, and if you get it too hot it will kill it. And in the final stages of baking, yeast dies. It gets so hot and it does its job and then it's no longer needed anyway, so it just, yeah, doesn't exist anymore. Now you're going to add in your yeast and you want 4 grams. Give it a mix. Whisk the 2 dry ingredients together. And then whisk your yeast mix. And now we combine the 2. Mix to a rough dough. You don't have to use your fingers, you can use a spatula, a wooden spoon, anything of the sorts. And then we knead. When your dough starts pulling things off the side of the bowl, you're almost there. You'll also be able to feel the change. It'll go from feeling what this looks like to looking more smooth and round like this other side. Once you reach this point, add a little oil, that is way too much, to grease your bowl. Cover and leave to rise in a warm place. Hi, so yeah, it is the next day. We're still going to be making cinnamon rolls. I'm going to finish them off. It's actually been 2 days. I got called last minute to go fill in for my sister's netball team. If you're from America, it's kind of like basketball, but there's no backboards and you're limited by where you can go, and it's generally a female sport, not a mixed unisex sport. Yes, so we're gonna continue. I'm gonna start with the sugar and continue on. I have made a realization though, because when pears freeze, the water crystals go like in between the particles. I don't think it's gonna turn out how I want. I think it's gonna be quite mushy. But I know this in the back of my head, so I'm not gonna be too disappointed if that happens, but we're still gonna try it, and fingers crossed that it turns out good. So yeah, that's just my explanation for why I'm in different clothes. Preheat oven to 200 Celsius, or I think it's potentially 375 Fahrenheit. If you've had your dough in the fridge overnight like me, you're going to want to get it out 45 minutes to an hour earlier. I've just had it covered like this, and it feels alright. There's a bit of a hard layer on top, but I'm hoping it's still going to work just fine. But it's still a little bit cold, but feeling much better than what it was in the fridge. So I'm going to set that aside for a little longer and work on the cinnamon sugar. Ready to my bowl, I'm going to add 56 grams of butter, or margarine, or vegan butter, your choice. Then going to add 83 grams of brown sugar. And optionally, half a teaspoon to a pinch of ginger, because I think pear and ginger go well together. Then you're going to mix. It should look like this really thick, buttery paste. Lightly flour a work surface and tip out your dough. Now what you're going to want to do is roll or spread out your dough as thinly and as evenly as possible. You want to try and get a square, and this would be best done with a rolling pin, but we're just going to pull and stretch the corners until we get our desired shape. Oh, I can smell the fermentation. This is probably going to have quite a more yeasty taste than had I made it in the first couple of days. So I don't know how well that is going to interact with the pear and sweetness of the ginger and sugar, but we're going to find out. So if you can't, as you can see here, I've kind of pulled and stretched the corners and have a very square shape, and it's got a corner that you can't quite see up frame there. Once you're happy with your shape, and it's fairly thin, because remember it still should puff up and rise a little bit, feel free to use a rolling pin to get a more even and consistent shape. Just remember to pull those corners. Once you're happy with it, you take your spread that we made earlier and you generously spread that over. Just a reminder that you want to, when you roll and cut, you want to cut that way so that you have the longest amount and you can get more rolls and folds in. It seems counterintuitive, but trust me, that's the way you want to do it. I want to make sure my end bits have cinnamon all the way, not cinnamon, oh I keep saying cinnamon, have the filling all the way to the edge. Here's the last thing you want, is a big doughy piece. You can go with whatever thickness you would like. I'm going to try with this one. And you just cut as evenly as you can. As she says, but she cuts wonky. And then you want to try and keep your strips consistent. If you want fatter, thicker cinnamon rolls, go for it. We're going for more rather than less today. I'm going to try and get 5. That last one's going to be slightly smaller. And now we roll. I'm going to start quite tight. Then we get just a splash of water. Wet the edge down here. roll it to finish, and I'm just going to stretch the edges up, like so. And that is one of many. I forgot to mention, you're also going to want this isn't the ideal, you kind of want just a flat white pan saucepan or a skillet, anything that can go in the oven and also on the stove. You're going to start by turning on the element onto a medium-high heat, and I'm just going to put a little bit of butter, and then I'm going to add a little bit of our leftover mixture on. Let that melt and heat up. Once beautiful, melty, and starting to do that little sizzle, you're going to take your rolled cinnamon buns and place them inside. Now, my pan is way bigger than I thought it was, and mine aren't even going to take up half of the space necessary. So this is going to be an interesting experiment. Don't think it's quite going to do what I want. Nonetheless, I have 5 beautiful buns, which I've spaced out evenly. We're going to leave them to just sizzle on the bottom for a little bit because I want that crunchy bottom, and then I'm going to put them in the oven. Alright, we are 10 minutes in, and it is time to check on them. Oh no! They've fallen over. That's not ideal. This is just because I don't have enough room in my pan. Looking good so far, but I want to put on the pear caramel that I made because I'm an idiot and forgot to put the pears in the cinnamon rolls. So I'm just going to put it evenly over. One of them is completely sideways. The tops and the sides of the rolls. Okay, that's sizzled in a hot pan. Now the tops aren't looking too brown, but if they were looking too brown at this point, I would chuck some tinfoil over the top, or if there's like a patch where it's getting really, really brown in your oven, chuck on some tinfoil. Now we put it back in the oven. Ooh, that was hot. And we wait another 20 minutes or so. I started by taking 2 pieces of frozen pears from earlier and putting them in a pot. I then took the small amount of brown sugar that I had left and put this in the pot too. This is where I taste it and I'm like, no, that needs a little more brown sugar. So we take, oopsies, the brown sugar and we add in, not too much because I don't want to overpower the pear flavour, but at the same time I want it to be more caramelly. Once happy with the taste, I let it boil off for a little bit to try and get rid of a little bit more water and to make it a bit thicker. And then, at 15 minutes, I'm going to pour it over my cinnamon rolls and check on them, and we'll see what else needs to be done. Alright, we're going to see if this is going to work. Ready? I want to go this way. Steady? With my arm in it? Oh, this is not going to work how I want it to. 1, 2, 3. No way! Okay, I gotta get a close-up of this.
But first, let me take a selfie.
They look phenomenal, and I cannot wait to try one. But I cannot believe that I was stupid enough to forget the pears. So, yeah. Idiot. I'm an idiot. So I'll show you what I did to them. Or what I did to incorporate the pears even though I forgot them. And now I still have half a bag of frozen pears in my freezer, so you'll have to keep an eye out for another pear themed video because I will have to use them up in summer before baking. It'll probably crumble if I'm being completely honest. So I let it cool down a little bit, but not fully because I wanted to try it warm. Now they look amazing, and one of the big things for me that I really wanted to try and get was this, the crispy bottom, and I achieved it. This is where I've tried to add back in the pear. This is definitely the better looking side, but now it's time to try it. Well, I feel like I should have used more filling. There's not as much in there. You can taste it though. Beautiful, crispy, sweet. It's almost like a toffee outside. Delicious. I'll be making these again, and I won't forget the pear next time. Oh, there's more filling in this one. Kind of soaked into the bread. and I recommend leaving it for an extra day. You get more of the full yeast flavour from the bread. As long as you keep it in the fridge, it'll be fine. Really good. I'm very happy with how these turned out. And that brings me to the end of my Jamie Oliver pear and ginger one-pan buns. I don't even know what to call them at this point. They are delicious though, not gonna lie. Highly recommend you make them, but remember the pears. And if you have fresh pears, it'll be even better. That caramel outside, oh, can't even get over it. And not to mention, they're completely vegan. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Peace out.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.